different views on the battlefield. And I think when I was younger and I saw them at first, I imagined that these were stereo cards that were cropped and pasted onto a CDV with the back mark on there. But no, these were separate views done for that specific purpose. And I saw one that blew my mind, a Devil's Den view. And even though the stereo cards look better in 3D, and even though the cabinet cards are bigger, these things are extremely rare. These smaller CDVs of battlefield scenes, and that's what makes them collectible. But I've seen a few of them. I think 8 different battlefield scenes. But here's one of the Leicester House. And again, since it's a unique view, not part of the normal series, it's from a slightly different angle, and they show us things that we can see in a different way. Now, one of the reasons we're so interested in these views is they're recorded in 1863. And we can use them to understand what the battlefield looked like in 1863. Let me look around. Let's see. Am I going to make anybody angry? Oh. Stop the tape here, John, and we'll pick it back up in a few minutes. You think it would behoove the National Park Service to learn something about these photographs. But I'm here to tell you, there's no one at the park that knows the difference between an 1863 view, an 1867 view, an 1890 view. And sometimes that irritates me, because if you're trying to understand what the battlefield looked like at the time of the battle, you should probably know what views are recorded in 1863 as opposed to ones recorded in 1886. But this is not a field of study that everyone is interested in. Just nerdy people. Yeah. Okay, so one of the more exciting views in August of 1863 is the views of the town from Seminary Ridge. And these views were recorded let's see, I guess they're recorded in late July 1863. And there's this view, and then off to the right or south of it, there's an accompanying view. And you can kind of get an idea of the town of Gettysburg. And the resolution on these views are incredible. So you can, if you have an original copy of it, and you make a scan of it like at 1200 DPIs, you can see the individual buildings in the center of the town. And of course, for someone who's studying the town and what it looked like at the time of the battle and what buildings are standing where, this is incredible. So you realize, of course, that Matthew Brady attempted to have a panorama of the town, and he did, from the area of the Dustman House, or Lee's headquarters, looking across the Chambersburg Turnpike into the town, and it's an extraordinary view. I still have never seen this view in a resolution I would like to see it in. I would like to see, a much greater high resolution scan of this than I have. But this is the one you might know that's on the wall at the new National Park Service Visitor Center when you walk in the little rotunda area there, the little round area. And they have a really nice version of it. But still, I think it could be scanned in a higher resolution. So the Tysons probably were there when this was recorded, and they chose to record the town from a point along the same ridge, but a little farther south. And we're going to see that. We have, at the Historical Society, a print of this particular view made from the original negative. And apparently, it's in a book owned by John Rice. and it was made at the 1938 reunion, the 75th anniversary of the battle, and it was made from an original negative that was lent them by William Tipton's son, Charles Tyson Tipton. And you can see the middle of the view has been destroyed. I don't know exactly what that stain is from. That something got dropped on the negative. But this view I have blown up in incredibly high resolution, and you can really see some fine details. I have never seen something made, I should say I don't have access to this original negative, although it may exist in the National Archives in Washington, D.C. And here's the thing I should tell you. The Library of Congress has the Gardners and the Bradys. But the Tiptons are all at the National Archives. And although the Library of Congress has gone to extraordinary lengths to download their negatives and make high-resolution scans, the National Archives has not. So we don't have access to a lot of the stuff in the National Archives digitally the same way we do to the Library of Congress. But, you know, it's probably just a matter of time until we break through that wall and they make those available too. So I look forward to one day to even seeing higher resolution versions of these views. Off to the left, you might notice on the horizon, Camp Letterman. And this is one of the reasons why William Frastinito was able to date these views after the establishment of Camp Letterman in the tents. But I don't have a blow up for this one, I don't think. Let's see. Now, here is an 1867 Tyson stereo half, and it's looking down the same road. This is the Millerstown Road. So, if we go back in time, erase the Chambersburg Turnpike from your memory. So, originally, as the town was laid out, you started in the center of the town, and then you went out West York Street. There was no Chambersburg Street because that street did not lead to Chambersburg. West York Street. So you went out West York Street and you got to the edge of the town, and then the road went up along to Seminary Ridge and came out near the modern Fairfield Road, Springs Avenue intersection. And then it continued out where the Fairfield Road is. It's not until like 1813 they put in the Chambersburg Turnpike, or started, and then we have Chambersburg Street and you got the Chambersburg Pike. And eventually the Millerstown Road, which is shown in this view, is erased. Springs Avenue does not follow the same route. So in this view, we are at the front door of the Adams County Historical Society. Wow. And we're looking across our lawn down the hill. And Springs Avenue would be off to our left, and the Millerstown Roads, or I should say the Fairfield Road, is off to our right, Middle Street. So we're in between. And so, you know, it's kind of an interesting road, and that's what he was showing in this view. Now in this view, if you look off to the right, you can see part of Middle Street. And you can see how this weird rock formation there that connects the two. It's kind of a road that connects the two. And none of those rocks are there today. I've looked for them. Here's an 1890s view. Actually, let me look. 1889, something like that. And here we're looking down Middle Street from the top of Seminary Ridge, and you can look off to the left and see those same rocks. But now in this photograph, they've kind of eliminated the road that led over to the old Millerstown Road. You see that? They're kind of erasing it as we're looking at it. Now also, besides views of the, they did record other views of the town. We're not sure when they recorded these. I have not seen this view on an 1863 mount. But there is no doubt This was recorded in 1863. It is looking from the center of the town out Chambersburg Street and looking at George Arnold's store and bank. And of course he has on the sign about how he sells cheap clothes. It says something like cheap clothing. Here we're looking down towards the Christ Lutheran Church. He also recorded a view looking down Baltimore Street. And again, this is a nice version of it from the Adams County Historical Society, but I have not seen it on any kind of 1863 mount. And although it undoubtedly is recorded in 1863, and it shows, I like to call it the House of Bender, which is called now the House of Time. And we're looking down towards the courthouse. It's J.L. Schick's store. Of course, I like John Lawrence Schick. He set his own personal record on the first day of the battle. He smoked 21 cigars. He was so nervous. 21 cigars. You see the house on the right, the second house is, I think, the William Gwynn house. See how it's whitewashed, which I think is interesting. And there are dormers on the roof at that time. You can see the clock on the courthouse. You can't see what time it is, but apparently the clock didn't work right for many years, and depending which way you were going, it had a different time. And I think, if you look at it, I think we still have that issue. I think we need to get the guy at the House of Time to go over to the courthouse and fix the clock.
That's because of Marty McFly.
Marty McFly, yes. Yeah.